Saturday, July 28th, and this is Woodstock. This is the 9th year, and they expect somewhere between 800 to 1,000 people. And as you may notice, there's a lot of things that are set up already for people because they get here at least by 7 a.m. to set up their spot. And then there's a lot of other things happening. People are coming to buy wristbands. You have to have a wristband. We are also going to be featuring the Dutch of Fizz rock band for Artist Showcase. And we're going to be watching their sound check. We're going to be talking to them later. And also we'll film their actual performance, which will be on from 3 to 4 o'clock today. So it's really very exciting. There's so much hype about this now because it's been going on for 9 years. So you will get a kick out of watching this whole thing. So you'll notice in the back that they're getting set up for the sound check, something that all groups do, all musical groups. They all do their sound checks. And we're going to feature, of course, the Dutch of Fizz rock band. And Dutch has been doing a lot of this in the village since he moved here. And we're going to talk to him a little more about his history, which is very interesting. But all of this started out with some real simple jam sessions that he used to run at Clubhouse 3 in the dining room, and it developed into this full band that's doing very well and playing all over the village.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of comitas rising up in the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night.
You can see a sound check is not a simple thing. It wasn't, they were getting feedback, they were getting other stuff, so they were trying it again.
On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of bleachers rocking up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and the sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. As he stood in the doorway, I heard the whistle bell. And I was thinking to myself, this could be nothing that this could be. Then she lit up a candle, and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor, I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. 'Cause baby, you never left the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here.
Now we are going to talk to Dutch Fisser, who is the leader of the rock band. And I know a little bit about Dutch because we met a while back. But tell me, I first met you when you were doing the jams at the clubhouse on that third Thursday of the month. And what prompted you to start that?
Well, I used to live in Oregon, and I moved down here to be closer to my grandchildren. And I used to play like 3 or 4 times a week up in Oregon. And when I came down here, I didn't really know anybody. So I decided to start a jam session so I could see who was in the neighborhood, who I could work with, and who would be a good fit for the type of music I play.
And that's how you got it to evolve, because I know that, some of the people who sat in weren't people that you really wanted to make a permanent part of your band.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a way of figuring that out, right?
Right, exactly. I was used to playing a lot of country up north. I mean, it's like that's what they do up there. And so when I came down here, it was a learning curve for me too, because I had to switch from country to rock and roll, which I really didn't mind. I mean, in my younger years, I used to play a lot of rock and roll, and so And then I switched, well, I started out with rock and roll and blues, and then I switched to country. And but down here, it's just totally like a different world. People like rock and roll. They like to dance, and they like to just enjoy.
A lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
When did you actually start playing music?
I started playing music when I was 7. My mother bought an old guitar actually it was brand new, but it was, one of these old acoustic guitars for my other 3 brothers. And we all took turns just playing it and having a good time on it.
And I remember one story you told, something about you helped your brother to learn, or everyone thought he was the one that knew, and then you were teaching him? Is that
Yeah,
right?
what was happening was I was too young to play in the band. I was like maybe 11 or something, and they had a band, and they wouldn't let me play with them because I couldn't go in the bars with them. So I would listen to their music and behind the scenes, and I would tell them, look, you're not doing this right. Do it like this, I mean, this is how you, and so my brother was smart enough to listen to me, and he would do it like that, and so, the band got a lot better because, the structure that I gave them.
So you were 11?
I was 11.
And you were teaching the band?
Uh-huh.
I love
Well,
it.
not the
I
whole
know,
band,
but you were really giving them some input.
Right, absolutely.
So wasn't there a period when you sold your instruments?
Yes, when I was about 35, I thought I had like maybe 4 guitars, and I thought I wasn't going to play anymore. So I sold 2 or 3 of them, thinking that, well, I'm just getting too old to do this rock and roll stuff anymore. And so I got rid of some, and then later in life, just before I retired, when I was about, I retired at 58, so I must have been 57. We joined the Eagles Club in Oregon. And so they heard that I played music, and they said, why don't you come play with us? And I said, okay. And so I started playing once, and started playing twice, and then before I knew it, I was up there with my own band, and that's how the music got resurrected after many, many years of doing practically nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I think when you do that, and sometimes other things, but music, I think, is big, where you just never really lose it. I mean, you never lose the desire.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think you did, but you sure didn't.
Yeah, I always played. I played at home. I had my
Oh.
setup, my home studio, and I played along and recorded
For your own
stuff.
pleasure
Yes,
and
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah, but I never thought I would go out again and actually play again and be as active as I am at this band.
Because now this band performs a minimum of once a month,
Yeah.
and lately more,
Yeah.
because other groups are hiring you within the village to play, right, at their
Uh-huh.
clubs and stuff.
Absolutely.
So you have a couple gigs coming up August 3rd and August 7th,
Uh-huh.
plus this, so it's become very active.
Yeah.
And then also you have the Woods Combo, which is a jazz group,
Right.
and that's every month.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you've got a lot of
And-
music going.
Yeah, and they play too. And I was subbing for a while with another band down in Pasadena, and they had like 8 or 9 gigs lined up before the end of the year, and I just finally said, look, I can't be on the road all the time. And I told the guys, I really appreciate being with you guys, but I just can't do it. I've got too much going here to be, spread out thin like that. And so I'm just happy playing here.
That's what I know.
Yeah.
That's how people start to feel.
Yeah.
Because, and I know the drummer Bill said one time, it's so great, you finish at 9 o'clock and you're home at 9:15. I mean,
Absolutely.
not really, but close.
Yeah, in bed by 10.
In bed by 10,
That's my
so-
style, absolutely, yeah.
So it's a lot better than working till midnight and then breaking it all down and carrying it all home, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, we're happy you're here. A lot of us come to your gigs, as you know, and we love it. We have a lot of fun. We're excited. This was sort of a goal of yours to be here today, right?
Right, absolutely. I set the intention for it a year ago, and I made it public to Jeff, and I told him, look, we're going to be playing at Woodstock, and this is what I want to do. And so here we are a year later.
See, if you don't talk about it, if you don't think about it, if you don't dream about it, it probably
Absolutely.
never happened.
There's only 3 things in life that are very real. Thoughts become reality.
And it has.
Yes.
No cure for the summertime blues.
So now we're here talking to the other band members, and the first one is our lead singer of Dutch of Fizz band, Jeff Sinclair. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with the Dutch of Fizz band.
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it brief. I met Dutch walking around where we lived at the time, and he, because of my long hair and earrings, I think he said, "Hey, are you into music?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm a vocalist." So he had a jam session thing he used to do that was once a month, every Thursday. So I went there and jammed with him a few times and got a chance to sing a little bit, and then that kind of evolved into becoming a part of the band. It was really cool.
Great. And now you're having a lot of fun because you're singing a lot of songs.
Yeah, it's like a complete dream come true. I act, but to be in front of the microphone, in front of a crowd, singing songs, and it's just, I can't even really describe how amazing it is. It's just really, really phenomenal.
And also, I think, as Dutch mentioned, this is sort of a dream for him to be here.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's going to be as much fun for all of you today.
I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. And this is the first year they've had 4 bands, and you're the number 2 band, and then there'll be 2 more after you. So all of you will have plenty of time to soak in all the fun and do all the good stuff.
Absolutely, and hopefully if we kill it like we think we're going to today, we'll headline next year.
You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Come on for a wild thing. Wild thing, I think I love it. But I won't know for sure. Come on in, just hold me tight. Shucks, I love you.
We're now going to talk to the newest member of the Dutch of Fizz rock band, which is Jim Harris. Interesting. How did you get involved with this group?
I'll tell you, one thing led to another. I went to what I thought was going to be just a dinner, and next thing I know, we were talking music, and they mentioned something. Jim, you ought to try out for us. You ought to audition with us. And I go, oh, you gotta be kidding! They won't even let me into the gates here, man. What if I got into the group? What would I do? And do you realize it's been like 43 years since I've even touched the keyboard and all that? But I did.
As they kept it nicely after you, we would say. Consistently.
Is that what they told you?
And then you had to find your keyboard, and then you had to start rehearsing again because you used to be in a rock and roll band many years ago. But how many years ago?
43.
43. And you used to tour.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Long time around the United States and Canada.
But that's sort of true with Dutch too. You know, he did a lot of stuff when he was younger, and then thought he wasn't going to do it again, and you thought it was all over.
Right, I did. I thought the last gig in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, I thought in April of '75, I said, this is it, I'm hanging up my shoes. I'm going to be a school teacher, teach English the rest of my life, and one thing led to another, and here I am in Laguna Woods. So.
How do you feel about being in this band?
Oh, it's great. I've never had so much fun in my life. I have never had so much fun.
Well, right, because of course he feels like he's on a learning curve, right?
It's an inside joke.
Yeah, because he's on a learning curve, he thinks. But
she keeps saying, Jim, it'll be fun. You're gonna have so much fun. I'm telling her, oh, honey, you don't realize how much work is involved in this thing.
There's a lot of work.
But honestly, I'm having a good time. I must confess, dear.
Yeah, good. So then you don't even live in the woods. You
No.
live in Dana Point.
I do.
But you're nice enough to offer your home for rehearsals, which is great.
Yeah, that's great because then I don't have to spend my good gas to come over
here. And they
have
they also have a good place to rehearse.
Yeah,
It gives them a good place to rehearse.
And the neighbors all seem to be gone when we're rehearsing. It's great. We can get as loud as we want, which is good because we got this guy named Dutch who likes to crank it up. And I've been stealing little ideas from our drummer Bill. He puts earplugs in his ears so that he doesn't lose his hearing. So there's a little bit of a learning curve to this group. It's going well. Yeah, we have a good time.
talking to Bill Hamburger, who is the drummer of the Dutch of Fizz band. And I think it's a really cool story how you came to be in this band. So tell us.
Used to vacation here 2 or 3 years before we moved here. Jammed with Dutch one time and told him and his wife we considered moving here. And he just immediately says, well, when you get here, make sure you call me. So we had put our house in the market in Austin, Texas. And about a month before we were ready to leave, I got an email from Dutch. You here yet? So, and as soon as I got here, we were out gigging within 2 weeks.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
And
yeah.
now you've been doing it with him for, is it about a year?
A year, 'cause
It's
we've
a
been
year
here,
because
yeah.
you've just been here a year.
Been here a year.
Right. And what's the best part for you? I mean, you've done some of this playing. Didn't you play in Texas or?
I've been playing since I've been 8 years old. I was playing in studios in Austin. I was doing
That
all the
was
studio
it.
work.
Okay.
And here it's just all live, but we get to do it all in the village, which is great. You're home by 10 o'clock. You play these gigs that are fun to play, you get paid, and you're home by 10 o'clock.
It's the best.
Fabulous.
Best.
Normally, you play gigs and clubs, you start at 10 o'clock, so.
I know. So that's what I mean, I was talking before about that whole thing, that it's so great. I mean, I know that's a big benefit for all of you. But now
Big.
your gigs are increasing, you're doing more.
Yes, doing, looks like once a week at least we're playing.
Yeah.
And having a good time. The more the merrier, it'd be great.
And anything about one of the favorite songs that you are going to be playing today?
I probably would lean more towards, there's a couple of them. Probably Smoke on the Water. The set that we're doing today is probably the most enjoyable. I think I get to do more in that song. Because when you play in a rock band, drummers should be playing a lot. And I mean, there's not a lot of stuff to do because you listen to the music, and if it's simple music, you play simply. And so there's, something like that. So, okay, I get to have more fun in this song.
Good. And then you really started playing at 8?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
First drum lesson at 8.
First drum lesson. And then never stopped?
No.
Now we're sitting with Bob Mazzola. And you play the guitar.
Bass.
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar. How long have you been doing this?
Since high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you played all through that period, or did you stop for a while?
No, I've been a bass player all that time.
And so you were with different...
Well, not full time, on and off. Through college, I played full time, and of course I had a career, played part time, wedding bands.
So always doing
like
the
that,
music,
yeah.
though, at one time or another. Right. And then how did you come to hook up with the Dutch of Fizz rock band?
Craigslist.
Really?
Yeah.
And how? In what way?
Yeah, he just was looking for a bass player, and I happened to live close by. I was kind of looking for something neat.
Wow. So that Craigslist does work.
Oh yeah, it works. I have another band that I put together from Craigslist.
So you do have another band?
Yeah, I work with a Cars tribute band.
Oh, didn't you play recently in the area here at that nightclub in Irvine?
Probably.
Yeah, I think you did. I mean, I remember this is a few
moving in
months.
stereo also down in Stillwater in Dana Point.
Oh,
We played there. So we've been together about 6 years.
wow. And then,
We're at Huntington Beach Pier for 4th of July weekend.
so you're doing a lot of part-time. But are you retired now?
No, I'm retired, so.
So
I'm
you're doing a lot.
Happily doing all my music that I love.
God, that's great. And Stillwater, I've heard of that in Dana Point. And when do you play there? Every week or?
No, once, occasionally, it was a Thursday night. They have different
Okay.
bands rotate through, so.
So we'll have to make sure we come down and see you
Appreciate it.
sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please do.
And what sort of song are you looking forward to playing today? Anyone in particular?
It's, I enjoy the classic rock like Joe Cocker, stuff like that.
Oh.
The Who. There's a few others, right? Eagles.
Okay. we're sitting with Lyle Sanders, who plays the 6-string guitar for the Dutch of Fizz Band.
Yep.
How did you come to do that?
Well, ever since I was probably 8 years old, I was drawn to the guitar. I used to look in the Sears catalogs and try to see which one I might be able to get. I had a paper route at the time, and eventually my father co-signed for a loan down at a pawn shop, and I got my first electric guitar and amp, and the rest is kind of history. I've always been playing music and cover bands, even talent shows in elementary school, and then some in high school, and I kind of worked my way through college doing weekend gigs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's my storyline.
But once you got started, you just never wanted to stop.
Well, I never stopped doing it. I did play professionally for a short time once I got out of college, and it's kind of a rough road, for survival.
Oh, you mean to make sure you're making enough money?
Yeah.
You have to have enough gigs.
I eventually went with the Postal Service.
Oh, you
but
did?
All
Okay.
all the while, I still had bands on the side,
Okay.
doing gigs and wherever we could find them.
And you're playing in more than one band now.
Yeah. I got 2 or 3 projects in the works. One in the village. We
Good.
play it on a pretty regular basis here.
And when did you move to the village?
Well, I've officially lived here for 4 years, but I was basically living here taking care of my mom before she passed, and when she passed, I bought the house from my brothers.
It's funny, I've heard that story many times,
About
of
4
the same
times.
situation.
Yeah.
And interesting, because we always perceive that the women take care of the parents, right? But every story that I've heard since I've been here is someone like yourself,
Yeah.
the man taking care of his mom, and then ending up living here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have did it any other way.
it out there?
Scott, I got to tell you, man, that it was the most amazing feeling. The audience was very receptive to our music. The sound of the band was great. And again, I said earlier that it's kind of hard to describe in words. The feeling that you have and the energy that's both given from the band and then back to the band, it was absolutely amazing.
It's a high that you want more and more of, right?
It's so much higher than anything you could ever take artificially.
I said it's the home.
How'd you guys do?
We did well. We really did well. Hi, Paul.
Hey, you were great.
Well, thank you.
Really good.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed the show.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably easier on you not to have to sing every song.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's nice to have a friend singer.
Yeah?
What was the best part?
Just being here, you know, it's a real honor to play at Woodstock and to share it with all the other band members. Really great.